Good morning, student. Today we are going to learn about double fertilization, triple fusion. So, first of all, this diagrammatic representation shows the development of microsporangium. So, the microsporangium is nothing but an androecium or a stigma style. Anthers. So this one is the anther, and these are the developing stages of microspore or pollen grain. So first of all, when there is a development of a microspore, at that time, first of all, the mother cell is divided into four equal halves, that is a meiosis, and then it can be divided into a mitotic division. So in this way, the anther mother cell or microspore mother cell can be developed into a pollen grain, which is called as microgametophyte or a pollen grain. So this one is the pollen grain. Likewise, at the same time, there is a development of a stigma style ovary. So this one is the stigma, this one a bifid stigma, this is the short style, and this is the ovary. This complete structure is called as a gynoecium, pistil or carpel, and this is nothing but an ovary. So inside that ovary there is a development of a microspore, that is called as a ovule. Then this ovule divide and redivide in a meiotic division, and then again it going through a mitotic division, and then there is a development of a complete embryo sac, which is a female gametophyte. That embryo sac possesses 3 antipodal cells, 3 synergid cells, 2 polar nuclei, and 1 egg cells. So this is all about a embryo sac. This embryo sac is fertilized by the pollen tube when the 2 sperms are take entry inside the embryo sac. At that time, whatever the changes are going to be done, that is called as a, first of all, that is the double fertilization. Means the one sperm can fertilize the egg cell, that is called as a double fertilization. And here is the 2 polar nuclei get fused with another vegetative sperm nucleus, that is called as a triple fusion. So we are taking look one by one after. First of all, what is meant by double fertilization? So for that, double fertilization is a chief trait of flowering plants. Flowering plant means that plant which bears a flowers. In the phenomena, one female gamete unites with 2 male gametes. From that, one of the male gametes fertilizes the egg, resulting in the formation of a zygote, which is diploid in nature, as well as another sperm unites with 2 polar nuclei for the formation of an endosperm, which is a nutritive part. So in this way, the double fertilization provides stimulus to the plant, resulting in the ovarian development, into the fruits, and then that can be that development of ovules into the seeds. When the haploid male gametes and female gametes fuse, the diploid state of plant is restored. Means the diploid state of a zygote is nothing but an future plant. So here is the some diagrammatic representation. This is the silk stigma. This is the entry taken by the pollen tube. This one is the embryo sac, and these are the styler canal, which is nothing but an path or space for the passing down of a pollen tube. Then this diagram A shows female gametophyte. This is the female gametophyte. This is the female 2 polar nuclei which are present at the center These are the two polar nuclei. This red color is nothing but an egg nucleus. This green color is nothing but an pollen tube, and these two are the sperm nuclei. So in this way, here is the development of a pollen tube. Before the fertilization, the early fertilization changes are going done within a embryo sac. Then first of all, one generative nucleus get fused with egg nucleus, that is nothing but an formation of a zygote, and another sperm nucleus, that which is a vegetative sperm nucleus, get unite with the two polar nuclei, that is nothing but an three haploid nucleus get fused with each other, and that's why it is called as a triple fusion. So in this case, what happened, first of all, the one sperm fused with egg nucleus, that is a fertilization, but after that there is a another vegetative nucleus unite with the two polar nuclei, that is nothing but a double fertilization, and within that double fertilization, two haploid polar nuclei and one haploid sperm nucleus get unite, and that's why it is called as a triple fusion. So in this way, here is the post fertilization changes. This is the embryo, this one is the endosperm, which is developed with the help of this polar nuclei and vegetative nucleus, and in this way there is a development of embryo as well as endosperm. This endosperm is a triploid in nature, while embryo is diploid in nature, and here is the diagrammatic representation of a embryo sac. So in case of a angiosperm, angiosperms are flower bearing plants and are the most diverse group of a terrestrial plant, means a land plant. The flowers from the reproductive part of the angiosperm with separate male and female reproductive organs. So in case of a angiospermic flower, there is a development of a male androecium and female gynoecium. Each contains gamete, that is sperms and egg cells, which are generative cells. Then at the time of pollination, it helps the pollen grains to reach stigma via style. The two sperm cells enter the ovule synergid cell. This proceed to the fertilization. So this is all about a fertilization. But what happen in case of angiosperm? Fertilization result into two structures, namely zygote and endosperm, and hence the name is called as a double fertilization. At the time of double fertilization, there is a union of a three haploid nucleus, and that is called as a triploid or triple fusion. So after double fertilization, there is a development of a complex process where the two sperm cells, one fuse with egg, that is a zygote formation, and the other fuse with two polar nuclei, result into the formation of a triploid. So in this way, there is a development of a primary endosperm nucleus, that is a triple fusion. Since endosperm is a product of the fusion of three haploid nuclei, it is called as triple fusion. So I hope you have gained a complete idea what is meant by double fertilization and what is meant by triple fusion. Eventually, the primary endosperm nucleus develop into the primary endosperm cell and then into the endosperm. So in this way, there is a development of a primary endosperm cell. Then the zygote becomes an embryo after numerous cell division. So here is the diagrammatic representation of a double fertilization. This is the stigma, this one is the style, and this is the ovary. Within that ovary, here is the embryo sac. That embryo sac possesses three synergids, three antipodal cell, two polar nuclei, and one egg cells. And here is the release of a sperm cell through a pollen tube. That pollen tube contains two nucleus. One is a vegetative nucleus and one another is a generative nucleus. And in this way there is a formation of a triploid endosperm and diploid zygote, that is nothing but a double fertilization. While the development of an embryo in case of angiosperm, it has its peculiarities. Once the fertilization is completed, embryonic development start and no more sperms can take entry into the ovary. The fertilized ovule develops into the seed and ovary tissue develops a fleshy fruit which encloses the seeds. So this is nothing but an development of a fruit. After fertilization, the zygote divides into upper terminal and lower basal cell. The basal cell divides into the suspensor, which helps in the transport of nutrients to the growing embryo. The terminal cell develop into a proembryo, and following are the different stages which are involved in the development of an embryo. So first of all, in the first stage of development, the terminal cells divides, forming a globular proembryo. The basal cells also divides into the suspensor. So these are some stages of embryonic development. Then the developing embryo attains a heart shape due to the presence of two cotyledons. And later on, the growing embryo gets crowded and begins to bend. In this way, the embryo gets bent and embryo fills the seed completely. So in this way, there is a complete development of a seed. Inside that seed, there is a development of an embryo as well as endospermic tissue. So here is the pollen tube with two male gametes. These are the synergid, these are the polar nuclei, and this one is the antipodals. So first of all, egg can be fused with a generative nucleus and develop a zygote. So this one is the zygotes, and one another vegetative nucleus get fused with two polar nuclei, and then there is a formation of a triploid, that is called as a triple fusion. And here are the fertilized embryo. This is the fertilized embryo sac. So what happened in this case, after the zygote formation and triple fusion, whatever the development is going to be attained, that has its own functional aspect, and it is nothing but an significance of a double fertilization. So the first of all, the significance of double fertilization is most important for the purpose, that is two products are obtained as a result of a double fertilization. So what are there? There are chances of polyembryony, and the plant has better chances to survival. So that is the most important significance of a double fertilization. Then third one is that double fertilization give rise to an endosperm that provides nourishment to the developing embryo. So double fertilization means the second fertilization, that is two polar nuclei and one vegetative nucleus, which can combine to develop a triploid endosperm, and that nourishes the developing embryo. That is the most important significance. After that, it increases the viability of the seeds of angiosperm. So due to the double fertilization, triple fusion, viability means a strength or a chances of being as a new plant are going to be increased, and that is again a significance. Then it utilizes both the male gametes produced by the pollen grains. So whatever the pollen grain possesses two nucleus or two male gametes, that can be utilized at the time of double fertilization. So here are some questions which are asked about double fertilization. So first of all, what is meant by double fertilization? Double fertilization refers to the fusion of one female gametophyte with two male gametophyte, that is double fertilization in two consequences. Then, what is the importance of a double fertilization? Double fertilization provides stimulus to the plant as the ovary develops into a fruit, and due to the fusion of a male and female haploid gametes, a diploid zygote is formed. The zygote develops into an embryo, which giving rise to a new plant. So that is the most important in case of angiosperm, which can happen due to the double fertilization. Then what are the end products of a double fertilization? So here are two end products, that is diploid zygote and primary endosperm, which is a triploid in nature. Then why is double fertilization absent in gymnosperm? There is some reasons, that is gymnosperms are devoid of ovaries and the male and female gametophyte are present on cones, whereas in angiosperm the gametophytes are a part of the flower which get protection. Hence pollination in gymnosperm occurs with the help of wind that blows the pollen to the land on the female cones. And that is why they do not exhibit double fertilization. Then, who discovered double fertilization? In 1898, double fertilization was discovered by the Nauskin in liliaceous plant, that is Lilium martagon and Fritilla tenella. These are the two different species which are the members of Liliaceae family. So in this way you have got some idea about double fertilization, triple fusion, and thank you for watching my video lecture.